Write in the missing number. We have 8.5 plus 14.7 equals 10.2 plus something. So we know that with the equal sign, we need to have the same value on both sides. So what we can do is work out 8.5 plus 14.7, and when we use column addition, we get 23.2. So if this side of the equal sign totals 23.2, this side needs to total the same. So we have a missing number addition. 10.2 plus something equals 23.2. And when we have a missing number addition, we can subtract to find our missing number. So work out 23.2 minus 10.2. That gives us 13.0, which we can just write as 13, because all the 0 tells us is that we don't have any tenths, but just writing 13 tells us that as well. How many halves are there in 15? So we know that there are 2 halves in one whole, but we want to know how many halves there are in 15. Now 1 times 15 is 15, and 2 times 15 is 30, so that means there are 30 halves in 15 wholes, so our answer is 30. We can write 30 halves as 30 over 2, and remember, when we get an improper fraction, we can divide, and 30 divided by 2 is 15, so that's why there are 30 halves in 15 wholes. Here is a shaded shape on a square grid. Reshma translates the shape from point A to point B. Draw the new position of the shape after the translation. So when a shape has been translated, it's been moved from one place to another. We know that point A has moved to point B, and what we need to do here to translate the shape is to look at the corners and translate those as well. So to get to this corner from point A, we go 3 squares right and 1 up. So if we go 3 squares right and 1 up from point B, we know that this point here will be this corner translated. Then to get to this point, we go 3 squares up, so we can go 3 squares up from point B as well. And then for this point, we go up and right, and so from B we can go up and right and place our point. So now all we need to do is join up our points and we have our translated shape. It's the same size, but it's been moved from point A to point B. Here are 5 shapes on a square grid. Which 2 shapes fit together to make a square? So we know that with a square, we have a 4-sided shape where all sides are the same length. And to fit 2 shapes together, we might need to rotate shapes. So here, if we take shape D and rotate it, we can see that that fits together with shape B to make a square, because it means that all sides are the same length. All sides are 4 squares long. So the 2 shapes are B and D. The numbers in this sequence increase by the same amount each time. Write in the missing numbers. So we have 1 something something 13. So we have 1, 2, 3 jumps to get from 1 to 13, and they're 3 equal jumps because the increase is the same amount each time. Now the difference between 13 and 1 is 12. 13 minus 1 is 12. So we have 3 equal jumps and we've added 12 altogether. So to see what we add each time, we need to divide 12, divide the difference by 3 because we make 3 jumps. And that tells us that it's an increase of 4 with each jump. So 1 plus 4 is 5, 5 plus 4 is 9, and then 9 plus 4 is 13. October has 31 days. On October the 24th, Zack says, "My birthday is exactly 2 weeks from now. Write the date of Zack's birthday." So we know that 1 week is 7 days, so 2 weeks is 14 days. But if we add 14 to 24, we get more than 31. So Zack's birthday won't be in October, it will be in the next month, so in November. Now from October the 24th to get to October the 31st, that will be 7 days, because 31 minus 24 is 7. But 2 weeks is 14 days. So we need to count on another 7 days from October the 31st. Remember, the next day will be November the 1st, then the second day will be November the 2nd. So if we count on 7 days, that will take us to November the 7th. So that's the date of Zack's birthday. A bottle holds 1 litre of lemonade. Rachel fills 5 glasses with lemonade. She puts 150 millilitres in each glass. How much lemonade is left in the bottle? So 1 litre is 1000 millilitres, and she's filled 5 glasses with 150 millilitres. So to find how much she's poured out of the bottle altogether, we need to multiply 5 by 150. And that means that she must have poured out 750 millilitres altogether into the 5 glasses. Now we want to know how much lemonade is left. So she started with 1000 millilitres and poured out 750. So we can subtract to see what's left. And doing that gives us 250. So there are 250 millilitres of lemonade left in the bottle. Complete this 3-digit number so that it is a multiple of 9. So a multiple of 9 is a number in the 9 times table. So you can divide a multiple of 9 by 9 without getting a remainder. Now we know that 3 times 9 is 27, so that means 30 times 9 is 270, and our hundreds digit has to be a 2, so we can write 7 as our tens digit and 0 as our ones digit. So that's a way to get the answer quickly, but there are lots of possible answers for this question. We can check that 270 is a multiple of 9, because if we divide 270 by 9, we'll get 30, so we won't get a remainder. So whatever number you've written here, you will have got this correct if you can divide your number by 9 without getting a remainder. That's how you know that it will be a multiple of 9. Write one number in each place in the sorting diagram. So we need to write a number that is a multiple of 5 and a number that is not a multiple of 5. Remember, a multiple of a number is a number in that number's times table. So multiples of 5 always end in 5 or 0, because if a number ends in a 5 or 0, it's in the 5 times table. It can be divided by 5 without getting a remainder. So we could write 10 here, but there are lots of possible answers. As long as the number ends in a 0 or a 5, we know that it's a multiple of 5. And now, to write a number that is not a multiple of 5, we just need to write a number that does not end in a 0 or a 5. So we can write 11, but again, there are lots of possible answers for this question. 5 children shared 4 packs of sweets equally. What fraction of a packet did they each receive? Now this question can be a bit confusing, but if the question said 5 children shared 10 packs, we would all know what to do. If 5 children shared 10 packs, we would do 10 divided by 5 and get 2 as our answer. So here we do the same thing. we do 4 divided by 5. And as a fraction, because we need to write our answer as a fraction, rather than 4 divided by 5, we can write 4 over 5, because that means the same thing. Remember, a fraction is really a division. So 4 over 5 is the same as 4 divided by 5. And that's how we would work out how many sweets or how much of the pack of sweets each child received. Here is an open-top cube. Here is the net from which it is made. Put a tick on the square which is its base. So remember, the base of a cube will be its bottom. So the base of the cube is this square here, because this square and this square can fold up. Then this square here can fold around, so cover this edge. And when this square folds around, we'll be able to fold this square here all the way round to cover this edge, leaving an open top. Here is one side of a square drawn on a coordinates grid. The square has a vertex at 6, 1. Draw the other 3 sides of the square on the grid. So it has a vertex at 6, 1, and when we're reading coordinates, it's always the x coordinate first. So we have 6, and then the y coordinate is 1, so we can plot a vertex here. That's 6 because we go down for the x coordinate, and then 1 because we go across for the y coordinate, which is the second number. Now notice this will be a corner, and so will this. To get from this corner to this corner, it's 3 squares and then 1, and to get from this corner to this corner, it's 3 squares and then 1. So we can go 1 square and then 3 and plot our point here. And then all we need to do is join up our corners or our vertices, and we have a square because all of the sides are the same length and all of our angles are right angles, so 90-degree angles. One other thing is that sometimes it's easier to check that you've drawn a square or to draw your square by turning your page so that the line that they've given you is either horizontal or vertical.